Hello and welcome to the program. I am Suren. Respect is a celebration of life. Currently, justification has truly replaced responsibility. Apologies are certainly no excuses, with expectations of being let off. The word sorry covers your responsibilities in many situations. Yet, pressing responsibility is to keep Earth in good working order. I say, now is the time to use your ability and the bonuses as a response to whatever challenges confronting you. Let us consider accountabilities. As you realize that being responsible starts at this very moment, and the need to begin with it is all about the people, and only they can do it. In reality, being alive and able to effect a change is a huge responsibility. Who can and will do it? That is the question. There is a need for that between humans and the nature's elements right now. There is also a very close relationship which is at its most critical and fragile state today. Responsibility begins with you. Look at how proactive your choices are, as they were, and how you are choosing to be. How good are you at making well-formed decisions? Question mark. Based on the choices made in the past, or even say yesterday, you will need to start making your changes right now. This sounds daunting, does it not? There is no need to wandering off on a tangent. Start it now. Wherever you might be, it is all right, and you can start it right now. You are certainly not your irresponsible, apathetic, negligent, or careless self. Measure your attributes and qualities, and you have the means to do so. As a collective, negative, that is, if you were, you would cause only destruction and waging war against each other. At the same time, don't you think so? Right. However, we observe much havoc, which is larger and in more volatile scale today in your world. Do you know how some chemicals, for instance, used violate your planet, polluting the air and poisoning the soil that grows your food? Even your fresh air is polluted now. The entire planet is sending out messages globally and locally, and you are becoming more and more aware of the climate changes, for instance. You are now caught in your own trap. Won't you think so? There is no other time left other than right now. Realize that the power of intelligence is personified in you. There is a certain mechanism for saving everything, including money, lives, and keeping the planet sustainable in supporting all of animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom. However, there are also those who are never satisfied with their power and domination. All the profits go to them, the greedy and the power-hungry. Truth is that they are the only benefactors. All the riches go to the minority, who is incurring the majority of debt. And it is the minority getting the majority of all wealth. Just consider. You may find both yourself and your planet being in a very precarious position right now and living in unstable times. This is not a secret, as the harmful side of human nature had been abusing the whole planet and each other for a very long time now. You have indeed an arsenal for survival. The cataclysms have all the mechanisms to bring about such a situation, which seems that humans will need to open their eyes at this stage. It is all in your hands now. This is the little word with a big meaning. Do you know what it is? It is if. That small word, if, can change your whole planet. If you could start it now to make the smallest changes, because it seems that you are prepared to give it a go. And you have the potential to change your entire lives. Start it right now, before it is too late. You might be the one to bring about the start of changes which are desperately needed. This may sound either hilarious or like a science fiction, perhaps even utopian or even ridiculous. That is such a small and insignificant word, and can act as a behavior that has the potential to change your life. Believe it or not. You might know and be able to see the bigger picture at this moment. And so, start it now, before it is too late. There have been huge events, as observed up until now, in your life, and they may have had an effect to change your reality. What happens now from the living in the moment, from day to day, from moment to moment, hour to hour? You need to practice the power of now, as indicated in Eckhart Tolle's book, if you're familiar with. Have you heard of the butterfly effect, which is related to the work of Edward Lorenz? Here is the idea that butterflies' wings can create tiny changes in the atmospheric pressure, letting to alter the path of tornadoes. They can accelerate or even prevent the currents of a tornado. Did you know that? The wing represents, at least symbolically, the change in the initial condition of the system. Now, so many questions being asked, but there is only one answer. That is, if you can listen to it. You have to become one, working together in unity to restore the nature back to its glorious state as it was. Right now, compensation comes after the tragedy. The studies of bees, which may be of esoteric nature, but is the critical routines of these hanging on to finding pollen sources and then returning to their hives. They seem to perform a charming dance routine. And that dance is the part of the needed intelligence, influenced by factors such as polarization of the sun's light and Earth's changing magnetic field. We must somehow agree that their instincts are highly sensitive. If the honeybees were lost, this would pose food supplies to be in great risk with shortages. Let us not forget that the humanity creates the treat or threat. Choosing irresponsibly is a deliberate cause of harm anywhere, as actions speak louder than words, and the words cause an effect. We all are being very observant, ready to act, and vigilance is the key. You can make it smarter rather than harder if you start it now. We are still certain and hopeful that the humans, it seems, will become more loving, humane, and responsible. Unconditional love, in a sense, can do that. Therefore, we can say, go and do it. You are responsible for understanding, tolerance, and inclusions. Though the creation of your highest initiative in that one moment of now to bring to the forefront for your salvation is the correct choice for the highest good for all humanity's survival. Take it to heart. Your functions of the mind is to propose all choices to be chosen from within you. When body, mind, and creation create harmony and unity, the energy field as vibration is made flesh, personified, and brought to life, meaning manifestation. This way, you will know yourself for your experiences from the choices you selected. Only you can get to the right action. Responsibility is a double-edged sword, right? Thought, word, and action. These are very powerful attributes which take patience, courage, and fortitude. They apply to a loving peacefulness and balance, action and reaction. Humanity is now living continuously in fear of the harmful side of the human nature, whereas the universal love unifies. Indifference with full superiority complex creates separation, intolerance, and exclusion. Negativity is a common denominator in all human beings. It shows you, when unifying under negativity, that leads to fear. Premium prices are being thus paid by only you for insurance, even for your life and your belongings, your homes, your cars, your everything. On the other hand, you have very high premiums for defending and protecting you against certain sets of circumstances. You can observe it all around you now. On the other hand, with certain conditions like, for example, as seen in the little printed notes you may be holding in your hands, they are used to supposedly defend you. You need to defend yourself against the paid premiums. And the price of safeguarding is very high. A policy which covers feels sometimes as your worst nightmare at this stage. Fear is like an infection and even an affliction that spreads its tendrils fast everywhere, and there is no immunity. Tolerance is broad-minded and or open-mindedness. It is also patience and perseverance. It sounds like unconditional love, does it not? Humans are indeed very fragile ones amongst the other species on your planet. There is nothing new. Do you know that the information is broadcast through all means to everybody else, especially upon this planet, everywhere? Civilization has been raped, pillaged, plundered your planet Earth to a point of crisis. There is only one response to all this. What would love do now? You are indeed magnificent and supreme as human beings. Your sovereignty can only be based upon love. Your tolerance is perseverance and patience. Being reasonable in every given situation, as beloved in the past and present sense of love personified and is pure. Understanding with tolerance and above all inclusion is everything else. It is in most circumstances what spreads love throughout the world, which, of course, allows people to live in the light, knowing how to live without fear of being judged or persecuted. It is how to really and properly live today and tomorrow. Humanity is collectively feeling the consequences in their loss of love. Being estranged, excluded, and isolated. These are painful states they are agonizing over. Anguish felt in the heart is due to the separation from love. Permitting all love to be in the basis of choosing wisely is living in freedom. The catalyst in distinguishing differences within different customs, beliefs, and values, they are learning about sovereignty. The feeling of this may be not comfortable for some when sorting out the volatile, frustrating, and sensitive situations. Now, looking back in the retrospection, all looking forward, you have a choice pointing to your authentic self. When coming from integrity, multiple choices are aiming at you in need to lead, guide, and give solutions for most given situations. Words are powerful, even almighty, and eternal. Once spoken, the words can never be taken back. There is a saying which you must be familiar with. The pen is mightier than the sword. Correct? Now, impartiality is the power of free will. To be free is the choice, which is reasoning towards different opinions in other cultures, wherein beliefs and values may be passive or aggressive. Choose, if you like, love, and it will take you away from the detrimental. To do that is finding that space and place within you, thus starting the healing process for humanity. And remember, it stands and starts within you, and it needs to begin right now. There has been enough time spent in violations and enmities, or both, through the harmful side of human nature. Remember, every single person on the face of earth has been shown the signs that earth is turning into a danger zone. Climatic change may be a suggestion only, or a natural occurrence, and the growth of solution. There is no maybes about the abuse within Earth's resources, like any other abuse. There is a resource and retribution. It is a matter of speed now. Do you care for yourself to teach and pass on compassion and care? First of all, the most important things following you, if you want to save the entire planet. Individually, it is up to you to help increase and speed up the excavation, so to say, escalation and acceleration towards a breakthrough, but into a lasting, more peaceful world. Nothing is a lot to lose when there is a whole lot more to gain. Keep that in mind. The universe is indeed your world. No reflection from thoughts, words, and actions. Your thinking made good as just a thought multiplied, and collective good for all concerned. Use all that you have and all that you are for a humanity in unity, contributing and all contributions working together for the common good, for the highest good, for all concerned. This does not mean to drop everything. Living your lives with intent and purpose of unity is how to live. Will the planet just save itself, would you say? Who will survive, the Earth or you? Will there be a generation next? What will secure the redeeming policy? Realize that willingness is a heartbeat. Living unconditionally in a state of grace, and so the inclusion is a heartbeat also. Of all beings, creations of the Creator, for the greater good, for all concerned, is love. That too is a heartbeat. It is in the feelings of what you know. No one has ever known any other experience of what is coming through at another level of knowing. Maybe leaders meet face to face with one objective in mind, for the highest good of all that is hopefully unity. Currently, everyone is a prisoner, living in fear of being hurt, but the negative side of humanity. Many wanting to have bigger houses now, more garages, and at the same time having smaller families of all the generations, grandparents, and so forth. Now, living in retirement villages, away from the familiar things and surroundings and their families. Arrogance and ignorance created, alienated, insular and introverted society. The greatest strength of nations' history shows us fear, which has become our greatest adversary. While your family, your relationship to each other, and sense of community has broken down. In separate ways, loss of the senses, your natural instinct for being empathetic, sympathetic, and sharing is lost to each other. Humans are almost at an alarming point of being apathetic and complacent. Using common sense has become less because you have become more isolated and more alienated, going for more insular setups. Will nature, the bees and butterflies, help the health of humanity's dilemma? Question mark. The negative side of human nature has now positioned humanity as the most fragmented, fragile, and frightened of all species in jeopardy today. Learning about this survival mechanism, planning, designing, engineering, make a choice to be living in the direction of life that serves you well. Humanity is feeling the consequences if you have lost the sense of loving, and so has separated from each other. Your souls have become estranged from the greater part of themselves. Your heart from the creation and love. Tolerance personified is also love, permitting for all life to live in freedom, peace, and in harmony, away from here, the negative side of humanity. Values and beliefs, they are only a difference, and everything else is the sequel to a value. Impartiality is your keynote. Take note of it. The power to the freedom, and encapsulating it within each are the primary requisites. Consider. Thank you for watching and sharing. Until the next episode, keep smiling and be happy. We will meet you again. Thank you.